If you're trying to decide between a passport and a regular traveler's notebook, it just comes down to this. Which is the one you'll actually use consistently? Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Fira, and in this video, I'll help you choose based on your life, how you carry your notebook, how much you write, and what you want journaling to do for you, whether that's planning, reflection, or getting off your screen more often. Quick disclaimer, there is no universal best size. Both can work. The real question is, where will you use it most, at a desk or on the go? Also, a practical detail that matters, some of the inserts that exist in the regular size don't exist in the passport and vice versa. So your choice might come down to the specific inserts you want to use. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple checklist so you can decide in about a minute. Now let's be real. If you're going down the Travelers Company rabbit hole, I know you will eventually get both, okay? So maybe for viewers such as yourself, it's more about which one I should buy first. Trade-off, portability versus space. So let's just get the most obvious out of the way. The passport wins on portability. It's easy to bring everywhere, which makes it great for quick notes, lists, and sort of in the moment capture. But the regular wins on writing comfort. It's easier for longer journaling sessions, for planning layouts, and anything where you just want more breathing room on the page. And in terms of size in metric terms, actually, let me get my ruler. Passport is about 9.5 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters, whereas the regular is about 12 centimeters by, it doesn't go all the way down, but it's about 21.5 centimeters. If I were to place them side by side, this is probably getting in the way, but never mind. The passport is maybe 3/3 the height of the regular. So that's the size difference. Now, instead of asking which one is better, I think a better question to ask yourself is, do I need a notebook that lives and travels with me, or a notebook that allows me to write copiously? But besides the obvious payoff, I think the best way to decide which size to go for is to think about the use case. What are you going to use these journals for? Now, I'll take you through a couple of use cases and we'll see how the journals stack up against them. If your main goal is daily journaling for self-improvement, memory journaling, anything that requires a lot of writing. If you journal to process your thoughts, to reflect or brain dump, the regular size is easier because you're less constrained by space. It's just more comfortable for longer entries. Now, the passport can still work for journaling, but it tends to encourage shorter, more condensed writing, which some people love, but some people tend to outgrow that fairly quickly. I really believe that the passport is great for people who are just getting into journaling. A lot of times, people feel like they need to write a lot for a journal to be worth their while. By having a smaller space to write into, you can write just a few sentences and not feel the need to fill up the blank space, which you'd be surprised by how intimidated some people feel about getting into journaling because they have nothing to write about, quote unquote. If your main goal is planning or offline productivity, if you're using your traveler's notebook to keep your week organized on paper, while both sizes can work, what matters is the structure that you need. Now, the inserts brought out by Traveler's Company are blank. You get them inlined, dot grid, so on and so forth, but you have no dates on them, no page numbers. But there are weekly and monthly diary refills that are available for both sizes. They come in both the dated and undated format, but there are some differences. Let's talk about the dated diaries first. Traveler's Company releases dated diary refills around end of September or early October every year. They're not available year-round, so you need to act quick if you want these. Now, in the passport, you have two versions. This is the monthly refill and this is the weekly refill. These are for 2025. So in the monthly refill, you've basically got the days of the month in a grid format, and you do have a couple of blank pages at the front. You've got a overview of the year, so on and so forth. Now, this is the weekly refill. You get this in sets of 2. This is from July to December. The other refill would be from January to June. So this lists out the days of the week in a horizontal format. You've got a bit of writing space just about out here. And you've got a couple of blank pages at the back. Yeah, and then you've just got the days of the month listed in the front of the pages. So these two are in the passport version. The regular version is a bit different. You also have a monthly refill. Again, all the days of the month are listed in a grid format, and if you notice, the grids are obviously so much more bigger compared to the passport. So this, I think, would be great for a line a day journaling. This also has a couple of pages, blank pages at the back. This is your calendar overview, and you have 2 versions of the weekly refill. This is the weekly and memo version. When you buy this, you get 2 sets as well. This is from Jan to June, and the other set would be the other insert would be from July to December. The days of the week are listed in a horizontal format, and you've got this page next to it that's blank. So you can use this to supplement any information that you've listed out here. The other version, which I don't have, is called the weekly vertical. Actually, I have an old journal. Give me a minute. So I have this old diary from a company called Edit. When I flip it open, you can see that the days of the week are listed in a vertical format, and this is similar to the one that you find from Traveler's Notebook. They also have the days of the month listed in a vertical format, and you've got a small section down here where you can, I guess, add more notes. You also get the undated versions of these refills, and by undated, I mean you don't have the days of the month or the year listed anywhere. You have to fill that in. If you want more details about the undated free diary refills, you can go through the video that I've linked below, where I refer in detail each and every insert available, including the free diary refills. Now, which one should you choose? Now, if your planning is minimal, for example, you just want to list out the top priorities for your day, you want to make a short task list, the passport is perfect. If you like having room for a weekly overview, you want to have notes, you want to plan your days exhaustively, the regular tends to feel less cramped. In fact, I switched out from using the weekly passport to the weekly plus memo version because I did need the extra space to plan my tasks for the week ahead. By the way, friends, if this video is helpful to you, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps my small channel grow, and maybe consider subscribing if you like content like this. Third use case. If your main goal is stationery/creative journaling. Now I'm going to bucket a bunch of different journaling styles under this use case. You've got your junk journaling, you've got your travel journals, art journals such as watercoloring, sketching, etc. If you love to stick bits of stationery, washi tape, and other ephemera, the regular size is more forgiving. You have more space for design, photos, and other decorative elements. Now, the passport can be super charming for minimal creative journaling. I've seen a couple of layouts on Instagram that are just so charming, but you're obviously working in a tighter space. A great use of the passport in this use case that I've seen is for the artists on the go. People who love to sketch, draw, or watercolor outdoors. I've seen a couple of users on Reddit use the passport to hold their watercolor pages, and they are just so dang cute and inspiring. And hopefully I will do the same soon because I do have the watercolor insert. So these two are an example of some of the more art-focused inserts that are available. This is the watercolor insert. You get this also in regular, but the passport version is actually perforated, so you can tear this out. There is no perforation on the regular version. And this is a travel and sketch accordion paper notebook that's exclusive to the USA site. And basically, you've got about 12 pages of watercolor slash sketch paper. But in terms of my personal creative journaling habit, while I'm not into junk journaling, I do use a lot of washi tape, stickers, and I love adding lots and lots of photos to my journal. I have the Canon Selfie that prints in a standard 4 by 6 inch format, and you can stick this onto any regular journal. You can edit the size of the photo on the Selfie app to print out a photo that will fit into a passport size. But I find that for collages, the regular is better because you've got more space to play around with. And the smaller the picture gets, obviously it's harder to see all the details in a picture. And this is especially important to me for my travel journals. Like you, I take a million photos when I travel, but they invariably collect pixelated dust on my phone and they take up so much space while essentially I retain little to no memory in my actual head. So I print a ton of photos and I paste them in my travel journals. And the details of the picture matter to me a lot. So I print them out in a large size. I also stick ticket stubs and pamphlets that I collect when I go to certain places. And many times these ticket stubs are bigger than the passport, and I feel loath to fold them. That's why for me, for travel journals, I much prefer the regular size. Using the passport as a travel journal is great if you want to carry it with you when you want to track quick captures. It's definitely easier to pull out and easier to keep as a constant companion compared to the larger version. Now, if your main goal is a carry-all wallet, now, this is a very unique way to use the passport size. I have converted my passport into a wallet twice. I used this as a wallet extensively last year. You can check out the video that I've linked above and below where I take you through the contents of my wallet. It's a long video, so just check out the timestamps to get to the part where I talk about my passport wallet. I switched it back out for a few reasons, but essentially, it ended up being too bulky for my purse, but for what it's worth, it was quite functional. It just didn't fit into my life in that moment. Another factor to think about is your writing style. How much do you write and what tools do you use? Writing style matters. Now, the paper quality in both is the same, but the physical act of writing often feels different. The regular is obviously more comfortable for longer writing without feeling cramped. The passport is great for short bursts, but longer sessions can feel constrained if you write larger or like wide margins. Another thing to note is your writing style. Now, how do you write and which pens do you use? In one of my previous videos, I did an ink and paper test with my first ever fountain pen. This is from Bennu. I noticed that my handwriting is considerably bigger when I use the fountain pen compared to when I use my Uniball gel pens. If you write big or if you like roomy spacing, the regular will feel a lot more natural. If you write small or you mostly make lists and quick notes, passport is more than enough. So consider the pen you use. Some pens and styles just feel better with more space. In fact, the ballpoint pen, the brass ballpoint pen from Traveler's Company is also fantastic for writing in smaller spaces. And this can affect how often you reach for your notebook. Another thing to note is the difference in inserts and refills. Now, the paper refills that are available for one are available for the other, but there are differences. Again, please refer to my video that I've linked below if you want more detail. But as an example, the card file and the 3-fold file, which is basically the tri-fold plastic insert, they're only available in the regular size. And for some of you, maybe that's a deal breaker. I don't know how because I don't know how I would use either of them. But yeah, that could be it for you. Now, my personal recommendations. If you want one traveler's notebook to cover most of your life, choose the regular if your priority is to write a lot, you want long journal entries, and you need the space and comfort to not feel intimidated. Choose Passport if your priority is everyday carry and quick capture. If you truly want something that fits anywhere and you hate carrying that extra bulk, this is perfect. Well, provided you don't bulk it up with lots and lots of inserts and you sort of go ham on all of the accessories. Now, if you're open to having two notebooks, which I'm telling you now, I'm calling it, there is a high likelihood that you will use two. Now, a simple setup can be this. You can have your passport as your everyday carry, your quick notes on the go list, and then you've got your regular for deeper journaling, planning, and longer sessions at home or your desk. Oops. So the regular is your home base and your passport is the satellite. And that's actually how I use my passport. This is for my quick notes and then I just flesh it out in my regular notebook. But again, no pressure. One book used consistently beats two notebooks that make you feel overwhelmed. And if you're still not sure whether this system is for you, just buy the insert. Buy the blank or the grid insert and see if it works for you. Don't invest in this journal if you're not sure about it. This costs quite a bit of money. It's not cheap and it's money down the drain if you don't like it. The inserts are way cheaper and you can just play around and experiment with them and see if you'd actually use it. Plus, the refill inserts have beautiful colors, so sometimes you necessarily don't even need the leather cover for them. Okay, finally, decision checklist. In summary, choose Passport if you want and always with your notebook. You mostly do lists, quick notes, short reflections. You carry small bags or maybe no bag at all. And you prefer the simpler insert lineup and you're optimizing for easy carry. Choose regular if you write longer entries, you want planning space and flexibility, you enjoy creative journaling, or you want room to think on the page. Also choose regular if you want access to some of the other functional inserts that are not available in the passport version. If you're deciding between these two, don't overthink what's best. Choose the size that makes it easiest to show up on paper because that's what builds habit and ultimately that's what you're here for. You want to be able to build a journaling habit you're actually going to stick to. So let me know in the comments below. Are you leaning passport? Are you leaning towards regular or both? All? It's a slippery slide. So let me know in the comments below. And thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.